Good morning, everyone. It is 7:21 in the morning on Monday, March 19th, 2018. What a wonderful weekend it was here. Started off with an ice storm, but then it kind of, well, actually it stayed cold, but the ice storm stopped, so that was good. Hope you all had a great weekend yourselves. Hope you all had a good bit of rest and relaxation in getting ready for these markets. And that's what we're going to take a peek at today. And so we're going to look at our trades that we had over going on Friday. And our first trade that we had on Friday, again, we're focusing on using the Ichimoku system for a few weeks. And our first, actually, let's just do a quick review of that. So in the Ichimoku system, there's four main components. Okay, we have the cloud, which are these blobs here. They act as a kind of a support and resistance. And when we're looking at the bias we want to have, we only want to take trades long when we're above the cloud, and we only want to take short trades when we're below the cloud. And then we have two lines here. These are not moving averages. These are not regular moving averages where they take the close. This is a average of the high and the low over a set period. So the blue line is the faster one. That's the conversion line. And then the red line is called the baseline. Their real names are the Tenkan Sen and the Kinjin Sen. But I think that confuses a lot of people. Then our next line is this black one here. And that's called the lagging span. Now the lagging span is just the price action moved back 52 periods, okay? So if we change price action to a line, you can see that the blue price line is just the same black line here, okay? It's just moved back. Candles. Okay, now when we're looking at where to take trades, what are some entries, what are we looking for? We're looking for four criteria. The first is that the conversion line, the blue line, should be greater than the baseline, and that they should be outside of the cloud. And then the cloud in front of us should be green, and that the lagging span, the black line, should be above the cloud. Or it has to be above the cloud, and then price must be above the cloud. So we don't have a real long bias yet here in the euro. Why? Let's see. Price is below the cloud in front, there's no green. The lagging span is below the cloud. It's actually getting inside the candlesticks here. That's a sign of consolidation and some weakness in price action. And then the conversion line and the baseline are still below the cloud. However, there's sometimes an early warning signal that we get that a trend is going to change, and that is when the conversion line, the blue line, crosses above the baseline. Okay, so when we're looking at where these are at right now, they're pretty close together. The conversion and the baseline are pretty close together. Now, just because they cross above underneath does not mean that is a entry. Does not mean that we enter long yet. We want to wait till those conditions are met to go long. So we still have a short bias. In fact, because we got rejected at the top of the cloud, this is probably a good short target. And then the question is, where do you put your stop? Well, you put your stop above the cloud. Okay, wherever you entered at, you can think of almost the cloud being like an ATR trailing stop in a way. But, our risk is at the top of the cloud from where we took our short. Okay? So last Friday, we wanted to go short at 123.23, and that did work out beautifully. We did have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful short going on Friday and closed it into some really nice profit. Okay? Then what did we have? We had we were looking at a pound dollar short. Actually, I'm going to get to the pound dollar here in a second. The gold dollar. So gold trade, we wanted to go short at 13.20. which we did get, which was a beautiful, beautiful short that worked out nicely. Again, why did we take a short at 1320? Because we wanted to take a short if it got on a pullback up to here. But certainly, notice how it kept getting rejected at the base. But what are we doing right now? What's happening here? Well, the behavior of the lagging span is probably one of the most important and misunderstood of the system. But the lagging span, if we're short, we want the lagging span to stay below all the candlesticks. Okay? If we're long, we want it to stay above. If the lagging span starts to get inside these candlesticks while we're short, then that's kind of a sign, an early sign that something's changing, that we're getting into some consolidation, that we're getting into some weakness of the trend. All right, so that's just kind of a watch for that. But that trade was very profitable last week. The dollar Swiss was the other one we had. Where are you at? USD, CHF. There we go. The Swissy, we went long at 94.98. Worked out nicely. There's 94.98 down here. We had a really nice return back to the base. Took a long here, and that's worked out very nicely. What's happening with the current price action? We've kind of tested below the base. We're finding support on it. We're near the cloud. The thicker the cloud, the higher the probability is that you'll find support at that area. So this cloud is pretty thick, and we should see it have support. We'll have to watch it though. The lagging span is getting kind of close to this entire structure area here, so be on the lookout for that. Where are we at? Aussie, Canadian. We wanted to go short between 101.4 and 101.7. And we did get that nice, beautiful short. That was a really nice drive down. It's been working out very nicely. Cool. Okay, now I want to take a look at the pound and the euro and everything else. What have we got going on today? We've got a slew of things going on today. We have Fed stuff going on. There was Brexit talk going on right now. I have a very long, I should say long. I have a short bias on the pound. I've had one, I put up a thing on Friday that obviously I'm a few pips in the red on this, but that's fine. Actually, that just means I get a better re-entry, but I'm very short on the pound right now. I'm not really paying attention to the Brexit situation, not really, letting that affect my trade at all, because I have to trade what I know in Gann, and that is that this is looking like a shorting opportunity. It was last week. It should now, really basically right now, I just get a better entry to go short. However, looking at it from the where'd you go? Wait, why is that there? Looking at it from the cloud perspective, this is a long. We should have gotten long here. Gosh, except when you see clouds like this, that's never really a good thing. These kind of clouds are not healthy. They are not very healthy formations, these clouds. Okay, so you got to be careful of thin clouds. It means there's not a lot of strength. And thin clouds are bad clouds. Additionally, my short bias on here is on the hourly. Our composite index is at 135. That's actually one of the highest ever. In fact, if we put there we go. We've not had a lot of periods when it reaches that, and when it does, though, it generally sells off pretty handedly. Now look here. look how the composite index was hit in that 135 zone, but what did it do? It went from 134, we went up 250 more, actually went up, wait, what was this? 134, we went up 250 more pips before we traveled down. I really don't anticipate that kind of behavior happening here. But I am looking at a nice deep corrective move. And that's based off of Gann, not off of the cloud. Because the cloud here is so weak. The cloud here is just very anemic. Got that other one in there. On the MAM account, I've got shorts entries all the way to the rise here. It looks pretty freaky, but not really worried about it. Okay, let's see. We are looking at, so no target on, not putting a trade idea in for the pound dollar because I don't want to violate our trade rules regarding the Ichimoku cloud. I'm just kind of going over how it relates to my Gann analysis. And that's what we are looking at here. Okay. Now, back to here. What else we got? New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar has been a beautiful short for a while. If you remember last week and the week before, I've been talking about how extended the New Zealand dollar has gotten and how, you know, it has been looking for its own kind of a sell-off, which we have gotten last week, and you can observe the strength of the move as we broke down through the cloud. Okay, so what we're looking for now is to have a continuation, or there's going to be consolidation. So the lagging span is getting closer to price. Price has traded above the conversion, bounced back, found resistance. You know, we're kind of in a hairy area here. Experience has taught me that this is looking like it's turning into consolidative area, so I'm willing to sit on my hands on this trade. If there's not a clear, nice thing about the Ichimoku system is it keeps you out of a trade. Okay, it tells you more importantly about where you can take a trade. It tells you when not to take a trade. So that is a really important part of the Ichimoku system. Now, if we zip on over to the Aussie dollar, similar kind of move that we saw in the New Zealand dollar chart. And on the Aussie dollar, look what we got going on here. Now, the baseline, there's really no, I think there is, I just don't remember it, but there is a certain percentage of a move beyond the baseline where that's considered oversold. For me, I just kind of eyeball it. As price gets away from the baseline, the farther it gets away, the more oversold it gets down here. So we should, if you noticed, okay, price was coming down here, and then it got really extended away from the base. It wanted to come back a little bit and come back down. And we're probably going to come back a little bit, but we'll have to see if there's more oomph to push this price down. You know, we've got a ton of stuff going on. Brexit stuff going. We got mortgage applications, home sales, Fed funds target rate. That's at 1 o'clock. So, I mean, there's just a ton of news coming out today. Big catalyst move day. I'm very excited about it. I think we're going to make some big pips on this. So, you know, no trade on the Aussie dollar right now because we are extended. You know, New Zealand dollar and the Aussie dollar were kind of extended. If I see, I'm going to be watching these markets really closely today. If I see something, I'm going to put it on the portal. So check that out throughout the day. You know, especially if you're trading the Kiwi or the Aussie dollar, check those out later in the afternoon in Central Time. So I'm talking like noon or 1 Central. Check those times out. Euro pound. Okay. Now, Euro pound has just thrown up over this Brexit talk. Now the euro's catching a bid, but then it got sold off again. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Not a good thing we're not in this right now. What's that look like on our square of blah, blah, blah? Current holdings, euro pound. Ooh, yeah, cross the mid. Cross this 45. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Yeah, that is a big, big, big deal. Interesting. That is interesting. Keep an eye out on this one. Definitely, if we get a retracement, we'll probably want to add to a short. Probably at a, we'll say, of 0.879. That's what we're looking for to go short there. US dollar, Canadian dollar. What do we got going on? Well, what did we find? Where did we find a bounce? Right on the cloud. Cool. Are there any conditions where we might be taking some profit off the table? Certainly questioning whether we should re-enter long. Yeah, there are. Now the cloud is still entirely green. Price did find support at the bottom of the cloud. But what do we got going on here? Let's look at this closer. The lagging span is inside the candlesticks right now. You know, it's like it's not trading above it. And the conversion line and the baseline are both sloping down and about to cross. So we're looking at a warning sign. Now, what's giving me, if I look at my oscillator though, we're really oversold. You know, we're in a great buying condition, but just based solely on this oscillator. But I'm really waiting to get long. I want to wait till I get long when I go back above the baseline and when the lagging span crosses above. So, you know, really we're looking at the 131 even area. That's what we are. Oops. Let me delete that and write that in there better. That's what we're looking at for a long. Okay. Now, looking at, let's take a peek at cryptos real quick. So Bitcoin, okay, let's check out Bitcoin here using our Gann stuff. Now Bitcoin has really respected this. Remember, the structure is kind of a new type of structure that I've started using. And if you notice, as we've traded and traded down, we've been respecting this arc very, very well. This blue arc has been acting as support and has been acting as a nice area to buy off of. Yesterday, we had a nice bounce off of the 74 handle here, and we went all the way up to 82.85. We're just kind of consolidating here, waiting for the next leg up. Now, why did it bounce? Well, I say because of time cycles. I was talking about this all last week. And I was mentioning that time cycles are what moves price, and that everything else is just a reaction to time. So I don't mean to sound all back to the future-y or tinfoil hatty, but the point with Gann's stuff is that you can identify a confluence zone of time cycles and know that there is an extremely high probability around that date for price to have a reversal and to begin a reversal process. So what were the conditions for this? Well, have it right here. Bitcoin dollar trend reversal. Why? So March 17th, which was on Saturday, is the beginning of a new moon phase. So that means any market trending at like a swing high or if it's been in an accelerated area, that is a bias for selling pressure. March 18th, that's the midpoint of a Gann time cycle. It's an important square of time. It's a perfect square of price and time on the state where price is squared at 93.75, 9,375. Also, it's the exact date of a 90-day time cycle. So what I mean by that is 90 days from the all-time high. Okay? 90 days from this high is where the 18th was. And I kind of broke this down here that 90 days is the most important division of the one cycle year. High probability of support and resistance during this cycle. 90 days up or down usually would start a counter trend and or reverse the trend. Against extreme pitch or momentum, it can go 99 days. So we can go 99 days. I'm struggling to understand if the pitch and momentum here is enough to consider going forward 99 days, or if the price action after that, because this was 45 days, because this hasn't been a monster slope, if this is going to be adequate enough to go for just the 90 days. But really between the 21st and the 28th, we should see Bitcoin begin its trend reversal. The other cryptos themselves have also had a nice response to this area. If we look at Litecoin here, kind of similar. Ethereum is the big laggard. I mean, Ethereum's been just kind of boring, but Ethereum's got a lot of bad stuff happening for it. Gosh, got an itch back there. Ethereum's got, the SEC is investigating a lot of bogus ICOs, and great majority of those ICOs are created on the Ethereum blockchain. So that's not very good for Ethereum. Apparently, we'll see. We will see. I have mixed feelings about that. Litecoin, very pretty, cool action there. Let's look at the hourly. Look how price respects these arcs and just kind of likes to trade within and on those. It's very, very cool to see. Bitcoin too. Let's go back, check out our other trades here. On our okay, let's look at XAU USD. Cool. Okay, now looking at this guy. Gold, what is the plan with gold? We could have a short on a pullback. Actually, to 13.15 would be a good short pullback. Okay, that'd be a good kind of pullback area. Euro pound, oh yes, beautiful, nice short coming off there. Nice. That's very cool. Like to see that. Dollar yen. Okay, dollar yen is catching a nice drive. I really don't think I mentioned this one yet, but the dollar yen, again, crazy bullish on the dollar yen. Why? Because last week I had this continuing, prolonged, yeah, here we go. US dollar long target of 120. Now, why? Well, we're going from oversold conditions on this is on the hourly, I believe. You know what? Let me bring it over to here. Okay, so we have this Gartley pattern that completed. We can see it in the trade ID. Where are you at? Well, somewhere. Which completed. So we're looking at our oscillators. We're seeing divergence in those patterns. We are looking at, if we go to the daily, we've got really nice setup happening here. The struggle is to cross above the mid here. That's the struggle. I think that's going to play out very nicely. The other thing, if we want to look at it on the weekly here, is the weekly's got a rounded bottom forming. Okay, if you can see that rounded bottom forming on the weekly, and we're trending up from these oversold conditions, so we can expect to see a pretty nice drive to the top from this area. Okay, really looking for a nice increase in prices on the dollar yen. In fact, looking at some good increased prices on the dollar in general. Interest rates are increasing, so the dollar should shoot up nicely. But doesn't have to, though. Lately, good news has been bad and bad news has been good. So things operate in the inverse. Really, days like today with all this new stuff coming out and all these issues are sometimes not fun times to trade, but because you'll get big whipsaws, like the pound dollar's been a massive, kind of a whipsaw. So it's totally normal to see, to want to not trade in this environment. However, because I follow my Gann analysis to a T, I don't care about the news so much. It doesn't really factor into my trading. My stop is a mental stop. I'm not overly concerned about what does Brexit talk do in the long term. I don't know. All I know is how Gann's time cycles work in my projections. So I'd hate to trade off of news. I know people do, but oh my gosh, what a headache. Looking at the pound dollar at these levels, we are extremely oversold. Enjoying the short here. Would love to see a retracement all the way back down, which I would anticipate, especially with the Fed news coming out. We should see a real throw up in prices of a lot of these pairs, and we should see the dollar catch a nice bid. But UJ, looking at it here, that's 5 minute. What? Oops, not the daily. I want to go to the hourly. Okay. So on the dollar yen, let's look at these conditions. Okay. Is the cloud in front of us green? No, it is not green yet. So we got to wait. Conversion line is above the base. All right, I'll say this. If the cloud condition to go long here is met, if price is above the cloud, and if the lagging span is above the cloud, that's good enough. For me, that's good enough. I'll wait for the conversion in the baseline to catch up, because after all, they are just averaging the high and the lows. It's enough of a confirmation for me to go long when price is above the cloud in front is green, and the lagging span is above the cloud. So that is kind of where we are looking. The long area we're probably looking at, if we're going to wait here, is probably at the 106.15. So that'd be like a pullback to that area, about 6 pips below where we're currently sitting. And that's what we'll kind of be taking a peek at. Additionally, and I don't know if anybody else saw this, but if we look at, maybe it was the 1 hour, we're looking kind of heads and shouldery here, inverse head and shoulder action. So that's a good thing to keep your eyes out for. Okay, now looking at zipping back down to the pound dollar. Top heavy is coming off of that. Oops. Again, not looking to participate in any long, even though we're above the cloud, because the cloud is anemic. It's weak. It's not a strong area. And it's parabolic. The move is very parabolic. We had 139.22 all the way up to 140.69. So not really looking at participating in any long opportunities here. New Zealand dollar, no shorts there. Aussie dollar, really no shorts going on either. Gonna wait for some pullbacks. Maybe on some longer time frames we'll have to look to get in short. Yeah, definitely the 4 hour. 4 hours very, very oversold here. It's still going to trend down a lot. It's just really oversold. So we have to expect a pullback, up to, probably the 77.65 zone. Yeah, we're looking at a 60 pip retracement there. Looking at New Zealand dollar on a 4 hour. So, my gosh, similar situation. We're really going to have to get a pullback in there to go short again. Aussie dollar, we just looked at that one. Pound dollar, yeah, that's very accelerated. Very, very accelerated. Oop. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Oh, yeah. Probably looking to go back down to there to catch the long. So, yeah, I've got some great, actually really amazing and fun profit targets. There's profit targets. We do have profit targets. We're looking at some really great trades going on for the day. It's nice to have a lot of this stuff, kind of these time frames coming to a culmination and getting a lot of the activity moving and seeing some things going. As we move in closer to the afternoon, watch a lot of your trades today. There can be a lot of moving around in the pairs. I mean, if you've noticed just looking at the charts, a lot of pairs that usually don't move together have been moving together. So the euro dollar, the pound dollar, the dollar yen, they've all been moving up together. The Aussie yen have been moving up. The pound yen has been rocket ship. But anything that's really performing heavily against the dollar right now, like the pound, as we get closer to the news about the Fed rate, we can expect some moves for the day. Expect some big moves. That's what we're looking for. So anyways, only went about a half hour today. Check out information on the MAM account. I'm trading that, and we're up about $2,300 since last week on that account. So that's lovely. Full disclosure, we're if we were to liquidate, if I was to liquidate our long positions, current, we would be down about 1,800. But paper losses are paper losses. They don't mean anything until you close the positions. And even though some of the pound trades went a little too accelerated, that's just how it goes. The point is if you have a bias over a long-term period, any short-term swings in the opposite direction on a massive amount of pips, especially really in like a couple-hour pattern, it's usually not a sign that you were wrong. Usually those are great opportunities to re-enter, and it's very bad to add to a losing position, but it's not a losing position if it's still within your forecast. So the pound dollar is still well within my forecast for a short, and I'm actually thankful that there were higher prices to get into, and I think we're going to see some really nice inverse moves coming up later on this afternoon. And also looking for the dollar yen to catch a nice ride today. Looking at the dollar yen on the 4 hour, we're looking a little like we're forming up for some bullish move. Very consolidative on the 4 hour, actually. So, yeah, looking at some good things. We got a great week ahead of us. Really excited, especially in our cryptocurrency markets, and we're going to have a lot of fun stuff going on. So, anyways, it's almost 8:00, and I'll probably be with you guys longer tomorrow, going over some more educational stuff as well. And you guys have a great rest of your Monday. Have a great start to your week. and I'll visit with you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.